Kenya has just stepped into the global spotlight, and not for politics or sports, but for what lies beneath its soil. A rare earth discovery worth over $62 billion has shaken the world's superpowers, and the scramble for control has already begun.
Communities in Kenya's coast are worried as international powers, including the United States and China, show interest in MRIMA Hill's rare earth deposits.
And now, the world's biggest powers are racing towards Kenya. Within days, US Vice President J.D. Vance confirmed an urgent visit to Nairobi. Officially, he is coming to discuss cooperation. Unofficially, it is all about locking in America's share of Kenya's rare earth before China's does.
Communities in Kenya's coast are worried as international powers, including the United States and China, show interest in MRIMA Hill's rare earth deposits. The locals are now fearing eviction or missing out on future mining profits.
Communities on Kenya's coast are on edge as the world's major powers, including the United States and China, show interest in MRIMA Hill. The forest is rich in rare earth minerals, which are crucial for technology and industry globally. Locals, mostly from the Digo ethnic group, worry about eviction and losing a share in future mining profits.
I hear there are very valuable minerals here, which could sustain the entire country of Kenya, worth trillions of shillings. Why should we suffer if there are valuable minerals here in MRIMA? If there are valuable minerals, we are not opposed to the mountain being mined. Let them come in a good way. Let us talk. Let them give us money, so that we too can live a different life and change our lives.
Washington has already announced a $5 billion investment in rare earth supply chains, and insiders say Kenya's new find could be key to ending America's reliance on China. But Beijing is not sitting back. Reports reveal Chinese officials tried to access the mining zone without proper clearance and were forced to turn back. Tension is rising fast. After decades of dominating the rare earth market, China sees Kenya as strategic territory, and losing it would be a major geopolitical blow.
Breaking news, the Vice President of USA, J.D. Vance, is visiting Kenya for the first time, but this is not just an ordinary visit. As you all know, Kenya has discovered one of the biggest rare earth in an area called MRIMA Hill, and this rare earth is worth $62 billion, and everyone, they want a piece of this. I'm talking about China, Australia, and even USA. So they are looking for a way that they can get this rare earth. And the people who are living in this location, they are very scared. They are very concerned that soon they might be evicted out of their home, because a lot of people, they are very interested with this area. And they think also that they might not benefit from the minerals which will come in this location. So USA have already inspected the area. But can you believe this? There were some Chinese who wanted to inspect the area without even permission. They had to be returned back to go back to where they came from. So as I told you before, USA is setting aside $5 billion to invest on rare earth, because they don't want to depend on China because of what happened last time. They don't want what happened last time to repeat itself. So they are trying to get as many rare earth as possible. So now we understand why J.D. Vance is visiting Kenya.
Meanwhile, Australian firms Rare Earths Limited and Akluka Resources have already submitted official proposals to Kenya's mining authority. The competition is fierce. Experts are calling it the new scramble for Africa. But beneath the excitement, there is fear. In the coastal villages around MRIMA Hills, locals mainly from the Digo community are terrified. They fear losing their homes, their land, and their culture to billion-dollar mining deals. If these minerals are valuable, let them mine. But let us benefit too. Let them give us something so we can change our lives. The hill is considered sacred land, and the community is demanding one thing: fairness.
guarantees that local communities will be prioritized for jobs and compensation.
Kuna manufaa project ikija.
There are benefits if the project comes, because everything has its good and bad side. The good side is that jobs will be available, money will be available because many people in this area, the youth, are unemployed. But if it comes, let them not seek labor from elsewhere. They should consider the residents here.
Wale vijana kwa kule ambao hawana mashindano, hawana kazi, sio hawajapata kazi.
Experts say Kenya's mineral wealth has great potential, but it will only benefit the country if mining is managed properly. Without clear policies, these resources remain underground and fail to contribute to development or improve local livelihoods.
So if you look at that, so how rich is Kenya? I would say it's just like in other parts of the world. It depends on how rich you want to make it. It depends on whether we put measures to attract the right kind of mining in this country. But as long as these minerals are in the ground, they are of no use to anybody.
The future of MRIMA Hill will depend on negotiations between investors, government, and local communities. If handled well, mining could create jobs and improve living standards. But locals warn that without fair agreements, the benefits may bypass them, leaving communities concerned about displacement and exploitation.
Experts warn that rare earth mining is among the most toxic industries in the world, often leaving behind radioactive waste and poisoned soil. And environmental activists say that cost of progress could be catastrophic if Kenya allows extraction without strong safeguards. The question remains, can Kenya balance economic growth with environmental protection? Behind the scenes, a diplomatic tank of war is brewing. President William Ruto recently sealed new trade deals with China, removing tariffs on Kenya's tea, coffee, and avocado exports. The decision rattled Washington. American lawmakers are now questioning Kenya's loyalty, warning that countries embracing Beijing could face a reassessment of U.S. relations.
It's partly why I have a bit of a problem with some of our friends, but it is what I must do for Kenya. You know, it's in the best interest of Kenya that we get into this market. Some of our friends are complaining that we are doing too much trade with China. Honestly, I mean, you know, when I sat with President Xi, I had a very candid conversation, and I told him that Kenya is importing 600 billion of products from China, yet we are only exporting maybe 300 or 5%, according to Lee. You know, that trade imbalance is serious. And that is the reason why they have opened up their market for our agricultural products. And that is good for Kenya, you know, and that's the right thing to do as somebody who was sent by the private sector to go and negotiate those markets. I thought you gave me instructions to go and negotiate for this one.
We did. We did. And you did a good job at that. So
yeah.
Very great.
So we are progressing conversations with India. We haven't quite had a breakthrough with India. We haven't quite, we are very good with where we are with Turkey and Canada. We have concluded the high-level conversation with China. They have agreed to a reciprocal arrangement between Kenya and China. They have agreed to remove all the tariffs on our tea, on our coffee, on our avocado, and all other agricultural exports. That, I think, is a major breakthrough for us. We are now finalizing the bilateral instruments, and Lee can give us some progress report on that, so that in the next couple of months we should be able to take advantage of that huge market. Forget about the headlines. The headlines serve other purposes for other reasons. But our engagement with the United States is a robust engagement that we have. And we will see how we can progress either as a continent using the AGOA infrastructure or bilaterally with the United States using the bilateral trade agreement that is already in negotiation. And this is the broader, aspects that you are asking us to do, to look at different markets, whether it is the Chinese market, the American market, the Turkish market, the Indian market, the European market, and we are engaging them using different instruments.
So when the US Vice President lands in Nairobi, it is not just be a courtesy call. It will be a battle for influence, wrapped in the language of partnership. For Kenya, the stakes could not be higher. $62 billion worth of minerals, a potential ticket out of debt and unemployment, but also the risk of exploitation and displacement. Experts say Kenya must decide whether to use these resources for true national development or fall into the hoard trap, where foreign powers profit and locals stay poor. If managed wisely, MRIMA Hill could make Kenya a central player in the global green revolution. If mismanaged, it could ignite new geopolitical crises in Africa. Because this is not just about minerals, it is about power, independence, and who controls the future. The discovery at MRIMA Hill is not just Kenya's story. It is Africa's story, a test of sovereignty, a test of unity, and a test of whether the continent can finally benefit from its own riches. So who will control Kenya's future? The foreign corporations circling like hawks, or the Kenyan people standing on sacred ground? This is Stephen, GC News.